time. They love it when the IHRA comes to town. But I got to tell you, the IHRA has struggled for the last 2 days, courtesy of Mother Nature. And, Johnny, no class will feel that any more than Pro Stock.
Well, that's right, Ken. It's wet. It's cold. It's just kind of generally yucky up here. It's going to have a dramatic effect on the drivers, their reaction times, and the car's performance.
Take a look at the temperatures here. Ambient temperature, 67 degrees. Barometer is one of the biggest numbers for the Pro Stockers. It's at 2794. That's very low, and corrected altitude above 3,000 feet. Those are not good atmospheric conditions to run big numbers for Pro Stock. Mark Thomas being towed to the lanes. He's undefeated this year, but a guy that's looking for his first IHRA win of the year is the champ, Rob Atchison.
Rob, your number one qualifier, Canadian boy, kind of everyone's favorite. What do you got to do to get over that edge? You know, you've been running well, but you just haven't won this year.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be tough today, too. The track's really tricky, I think. We haven't had a chance to look at it. Really, really good. We'll wait till the other funny cars run. But, yeah, we got to push ourselves over that edge. We got to make the right decision and take a win here, especially here in Canada. We want to take one. So Mark beat me last year, so we're going to go for it.
You need to go for it. So, anything that you've changed?
Oh yeah, the car's probably a lot different than anybody else's car here because I'm fortunate to have a first round bye. So, I mean, we're going to go for it. We're going to see if we can lay down a number and push them over the edge maybe for next round. Obviously, we're going for lane choice. We're going to go out there and watch everybody and see what lane is the best, and then who knows? Maybe we'll lay down a good number.
And the reason he gets that bye run is because he was the number one qualifier, did that with a 592 at 237 miles an hour. We'll pick up the action here in Funny Car with round number 2. Johnny, some great stuff coming your way, and it's nice to have that bye run. Rob Atchison, basically with a test pass in round number 1, has a real good look at that track. He'll be ready for round number 2. Well, the next opponent for the man that's undefeated, Mark Thomas, will be John Evanchuk, as Thomas does the burnout here. Thought we'd spend some time with John Evanchuk out of Edmonton, Alberta, with our rockumentary.
Hey, Medusa here with Mr. Evanchuk, the hometown boy. Tell us what you're going to do.
Well, we're hoping that today is going to be a good day for us, and we'd love to do something really big in front of our hometown fans.
You do back up for Rob Atchison. You went 2 rounds.
Robbie and I are good friends, there's no doubt, and hopefully we might do something in Toronto together again, and we're hoping that we can help each other along this year. Hey, Medusa, do you want to see my motor?
Boy, do I. Show me some high speed here.
This is the injector. This is where it all goes in. This is what makes the horsepower, supercharger, and my breathing air, because it's wild and I got to hold my breath. I need something to breathe.
You need to hold your breath. I hope you don't close your eyes, too, when you race.
No, we don't close our eyes. Only when we win.
Yeah. Woo!
We'll pull him up to the starting line. That beautiful car in the near lane is John Evanchuk, and he also won Best Appearing Car of the event. Congratulations to him. On the other side, Mark Thomas with the ethanol machine, who had low ET of the weekend in round 1. Boy, the chutes come out. Thomas dumps the laundry. Reaction time way off the mark there. Johnny runs 593, drives around him, but boy, that light was pitiful.
Boy, it was. I told you this track is funny. Watch Thomas's car as he gets up track. You will see the thing start to dribble like a basketball. He's spinning the tires. The tires are actually doing a high-speed hop, and you can see the car bouncing up and down. That's not too bad. At least he keeps in the groove. When you get that car through the traps and it's still doing that, you got a heck of a time trying to stop it because the rear wheels aren't on the ground.
Boy, nice job right down the center of the lane, though. That will be enough to move into the semifinals to keep that win streak alive. He's done a fabulous job. Most consecutive single-season wins. The leader there is 5, Jimmy Rector. Thomas right behind him with 4. Let's go to the top end where Mark Thomas is trying to get to his 5th final in a row.
All right, Wild Man, reaction time 1.42, 234 miles per hour.
Yeah, reaction time's not right there yet. We're just go round and rounds, trying to do what we have to do, right? Medusa, you know what it's like. You got to win, got to win, got to win. And tough racing up here. Weather's changing. Track's been good to us. So far. We just hope to keep going and going and going.
I got lane's choice.
Yeah, as long as we can keep lane choice and keep going. And I really don't think last year we liked the left lane. We won in the finals in the right lane. Obviously, going to the semifinals here, we'd like to maintain lane choice.
Well, we started off with 11 Canadians in this division. 2 of them are going to face off right here. We're down to 5, and we're just about ready to eliminate another one. As you take a look at Bob Atchison, that's Rob's father in the back of that Ericsson-sponsored machine. Of course, Rob, the reigning champ, on the far side. Times were very close, within 1/1000th of a second of each other, but after that, Johnny, it was all Rob Atchison.
Car just performed flawlessly. There again, he got that track dialed in. It's right down the groove. You see it. It's not wiggling around. It's not bouncing up and down. You know, it's a kind of unusual to see a run like that today.
The big-time speed once again out of Rob's car, 237 miles an hour, a little more than Mark Thomas, as both of these guys will advance in the semifinals. They are on opposite sides of the ladder. They'll have a chance to meet in the finals if they can make it that far. But that Reese's car, wow, what a gorgeous machine.
Takes a pretty machine to get down the track, but it doesn't necessarily win races.
Well, speaking of pretty machines, that Western RV truck right there is awesome looking, and there's one of those gorgeous Hooters girls inside. What are they towing? Well, they're towing a guy that's getting ready to run up next. That's Scott McVeigh in the Hooters car. This Hooters IHRA telecast is being brought to you by Edson Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. And by Western RV, #1 in family fun. Kids are having a great time. The big kids are having a great time. And how about that dog? You can't hear anything. No wonder he doesn't come when he's called. We'll continue on here with round number 2 of Funny Car. Doing the burnouts as we speak, Jeff Burnett and Scott McVeigh. McVeigh out of Winnipeg, and Jeff Burnett out of the heartland of the United States, Brownsburg, Indiana, a little suburb just outside of Indianapolis, where amazingly enough, I also make my residence. Mark Thomas leading the points here as he is undefeated throughout the 2004 season. He is also followed by the reigning world champ, Rob Atchison, as we take a look at the top 10. Last minute adjustments. Scott McVeigh in the near lane, the Hooters-sponsored machine, and Burnett in the far lane. Times very close together, only 0.08 of a second separated the two. The margin of victory, Johnny, pretty much all in the ET.
Yeah, but those reaction times just absolutely stunk the place up. With these LED lights and the kind of 121 light, both these guys must have been looking at each other trying to decide who was going to leave first. They go down the track. They managed to put this thing right where it belongs, but I want to tell you something. That was pure luck.
That was the margin as they crossed the stripe at the other end. And our final pair here in round number 2 of Funny Car will feature Terry McMillen out of Elkhart, Indiana, and Danny Millican from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Let's go to the top end and talk with our winner, Jeff Burnett.
All right, Jeff, you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
A little shaken up there?
No, we're fine.
You're fine. You had 234 miles an hour.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
That all the time.
Off to the next one.
Yeah, no problem.
You're going to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're psyched. We're going. Thanks.
Yep, you see, they're out of breath up there, Ken. I'm telling you, I've been in those cars. We hold our breath going down that racetrack. May only be 6 seconds, but you feel like it was a week and a half.
And it doesn't help that we're 3,000 foot above. There's just no oxygen out there anyway. So Terry McMillen in the far lane, the instigator. At the starting line, 065 light, 066 light, but it's Terry McMillen that'll drive down through there. Danny has some problems from the starting line. Johnny, that car moved all over the place.
Well, it did. It just danced and moved and shook and just did a whole lot of everything. Terry got out on him, never looked back. There was no way he was going to be able to catch him. He was shifting gears, trying to get that thing to quit shaking underneath that car like that. Just couldn't do it. Terry walks away with this one in a nice, good, clean pass.
Terry pretty consistent there in 04 in round 1 and 05 in round 2. A little tire shake to boot. There's probably some left in it. Let's go to the top with Terry.
Okay, Terry.
We're rocking this weekend.
You're rocking.
We're rocking.
Terry, reaction time, .065.
Boy, I don't know what happened there. I must have opened my eyes and scared the heck out of me when I took off. I tell you, I got down that track about halfway. I was bouncing all over the place on top of the center line. Seen a little bit of guardrail, seen a little bit of center line. Well, I'll tell you what, drag racing, funny car style Amalie is the way to go. Mark Thomas is going down this round.
233 miles per hour, honey.
Well, I need a bigger sail, but we're going to pick it up this next round.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Terry's been rehearsing that speech, I can tell.
Well, one of the reasons Budweiser Motorsports Park looks so beautiful is because of Rob Reeves, and we had a chance to talk with the owner.
It has done a lot for our community. It's about a $20 million impact. This race has been, for all our reserve seats, has been sold out. People are waiting for this show. It came last year. We had record attendance, and this year we're off to do the same thing today. We spent about $1 million in improvements here with new grandstands, new paving, track profiling. We've added to our drag towers. We've done a lot of improvements with our playground and in our concourse area as well. There's a bunch of Canadian drivers out here, and they support them. They get behind them. You got the Calgary versus Edmonton. You got the East versus the West. You got the Canadians versus the U.S. So it's all here from 22 different states last year, 7 provinces. So we're pretty international.
Well, when you think about the weather they have to contend with up here, it gets brutal cold. It's tough to keep a place looking as nice as this one does. But when we come back, we're going to put the big stump pullers in them. 800-plus cubic inches of Sunoco Race Fuels Pro Stock. We are back here at Budweiser Motorsports Park with the Hooters IHRA Drag Racing Series, and no class is affected by atmospheric conditions more than Pro Stock. How do they monitor these conditions? Well, we sent our very own Johnny Rocca down to Rick Jones to figure it out.
We're in Rick Jones's trailer today. We're going to talk about weather. Weather is the single most important thing to these race cars and to these drivers. Back in the old days when I was racing, we took the elevation of the ground and we took the outside temperature and the barometer, and we went through all these gyrations and calculations on these old-time computers. Now, in these Pro Stock trailers, they have their own weather station on the top that is connected to this computer down here. This thing tracks and constantly updates the weather every few seconds, so they know exactly down to how many grains of water are in the air. This is information they need to put into those carburetors to make this Pro Stock car go fast.
That's great stuff, and that's why we always talk about it, because it is so important. Sunoco Race Fuels Pro Stock, look at that. 815 cubic inches is allowed. 2,400 pounds is what the car's got to weigh. ET record for the world, 647, held by John Nobile. ET track record coming in here was a 62, a 662, and we actually saw the mile per hour record fall, courtesy of John Montecalvo in qualifying. Oh! And round one highlights right there. That was Rick Jones who crossed the center line, and Morton comes out, resets the ET track record at 660. Then we go to our next pair. The next pair is Brian Game and Tony Gillick. Game charges down through there. Gets a win by 26 thousandths of a second with a great 019 light. The next pair, Ron Miller, Chuck Demore. Ron Miller, an 057 light goes 662, 208 as he sneaks out a win against Demore's 014 light. Next pair, John Montecalvo. He comes out and slams the ET and mile per hour record. An 014 light runs 659 at 211.61, and it would last for about 3 minutes or so. The man in the far lane, Steve Spees, comes out and does the same thing. 650.68, 1246, and he currently holds a track ET and mile per hour record. Then in round number one, a very rare instance where John Nobile and Robert Patrick were both disqualified. Johnny, tell me about it.
It's one of those unusual things. Neither one of them waited for the tree to set. They both left early. Automatic disqualification for both cars, very rare.
Now what that means is Montecalvo is going to receive a bye run in round number two. Nobile's out of the deal. That leaves the points wide open. John Nobile with a bye run in round number two will take over the points from Nobile. So that's exciting stuff, kind of a little out of the ordinary, but we thought you'd like to know about it. We actually will have a couple of singles in round number two. As you take a look at Brian Game's beautiful Ford Mustang do the burnout, he'll line up alongside a Chevrolet, and that will be Ron Miller. Here's the ladder and how it sets up. Burner, your number one qualifier, receives a bye run. Then at the bottom of the ladder, you see John Montecalvo, because of that double disqualification, will also earn what they call a competition single. Brian Game pulls up here to the starting line. He had a great race with Tony Gillick in round number 1, won it by 26 thousandths of a second. We should say Tony Gillick won Best Appearing Crew. Awesome. Ron Miller lined up in the near lane with the Chevrolet. School on the starting line, Johnny, an 020 light to an 058, and then drove away from him.
Well, the cars were just bouncing down the racetrack. They're still having trouble with this surface getting hooked up. You can see the shake underneath the car. Angelo's Alessi has been doing the clutch for Brian. He's having a tough time getting that thing right to get it down the track. Ron Miller, he gets down there and just spins the tires. You can see the car. The tires spin. The car hunts the center line, and over he goes. He come really close to fouling that thing out there right there at the end.
Boy, I'll tell you, that thing moving around a bunch at the top end, that's not what you want at 200-plus miles an hour, and that was the difference at the stripe. As John Montecalvo does his burnout, he will take over the points lead with this round. Let's go to the top with our winner.
Woo. Hey there, Mr. Game. You got there on a hole shot and a 210 miles per hour.
It was a bad run. It shook in low gear, and I had to stick it in gear early. Then I got down here a little further, and I put 2 of them in gear at once. And then I put it in high gear early. It was just rattled the tires there to get go, and it.
So just driver error?
Well, you know, I had to save it by putting it in gear early because it was shaking the tires at the top of low gear. If I hadn't stuck in gear early, would have never made it down. Then I got crossed up down there and put them all in gear at once, you know, John Deere tractor style, you know, just tug down through there, just bogging all the way down through there. I don't know how, I don't even know what we run.
The newly married John Montecalvo, you can see his wife back there, Lois Ann, turning the computer on. Of course, Sonny Leonard powering this one. Boy, I'll tell you, Monty has just been thundering all year long. 2 wins for him underneath his belt already. Comes out, runs 660, 211 miles an hour. That's low ET of the round so far.
Shaking, you see it. But look at the power he's generated. When these pro stocks get the wheels up and carry them that far, and while the tires are quivering underneath the car, what a ride that is. Just one misstep, and it could be disaster, but it worked.
You wonder if he could see where he's going, probably rattling that glass eye out. And speaking of eyes, you see the 2 eyes on the front of that thing? Looks like it had a rough night. Cool-looking car, though. When we come back, no, we're not going to go mudding. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go drag racing. We hope you're back here with us at Budweiser Motorsports Park. We're back here with the Hooters IHRA Drag Racing Series, and if you want some cool hats just like that, the official IHRA merchandise, all you have to do is go to one place. Log on to IHRA.com. While you're there, make sure you link on over to our good friends at SpeedTV.com. But, Johnny, this is where you can purchase all the cool IHRA stuff.
Get all that neat stuff to take home with you, including up here in the middle of summer when it's cold. Sweatshirts, T-shirts, hats, all kinds of neat stuff from Hooters Racing.
And that's exactly what they've needed this weekend is the IHRA Drag Racing sweatshirts. The weather has certainly warranted it. In the middle of the day, it's been 65 degrees. Let's continue on here with round number 2. A Sunoco Race Fuels Pro Stock, and that big man walking right there, that's Tony Gillig's father, Bob Gillig, and he is a hired crew chief for that man, Pete Berner, who just set the ET and mile-per-hour track record. But the one thing that he's still looking for is his first ever IHRA Ironman.
You've been in the IHRA 3 years. You've been to the finals twice. You got a toy that every man wants, the fastest car. So tell me, what do you got to do to win, Pete?
The driver needs to be a little bit more consistent. We're shifting real well. My lights are getting better and better every run. We're training real hard to do that. I think we'll be in good shape. We're getting better every race. Car's making outstanding laps here. I mean, for what track surface that we have, I think we'll be good today.
Pete Berner qualified in the number 1 spot. That's how he earned the bye run here in round number 2. This car has just been incredibly quick all year long.
No, he's going to take it out to less than a half track and click it off. I don't think he got to 5th gear. It was shaking a little bit under there. At least they know what combination not to run next round.
I got to tell you, though, Johnny, that 60-foot time was the quickest we've seen all day long at a sub 1 second, .996.
That's the problem, Ken. When they run those quick ones like that, The car won't hold it when it gets out there about 60 feet. All that clutch in there, it jerks the tires loose. It causes it to shake and spin and dance around. So when you get that quick time, it's not necessarily good.
So it looks like they threw the kitchen sink at it on what they knew was going to be a test run. Set it up real aggressive, find out what it'll hold. They know they've got to back down from there. Now, Elijah Morton, with one of those spectacular paint jobs on any Pro Stock car you'll see out there, lines his car up alongside Steve Spies. Steve won Best Engineered Car and saw a couple of other Pro Stock racers out there. Tony Gillick was talking to Larry O'Brien, so the whole gang's out there watching on. Steve Spies, as you know, Johnny, has been in a couple horrific accidents. It's nice to see him back here and getting some round wins.
Yeah, and it's tough to come back when you're in an accident like that. It really is. And Steve's had that car on its lid a couple of times over the past couple of years and gotten beat up pretty good doing it. So I think it shows his dedication to the sport.
Like Spies had left so early that he went red. In fact, he was way late. But the problem was Elijah Morton, whose car never moved.
It didn't move, and it didn't look to me like he tried to make it move. See, there's no pop, no hit, no movement, no nothing with that race car. It just sits there. I think Elijah had a brain fade and forgot to leave.
And you know, if you look at the Christmas tree there, something wacky really happened because the red light came on immediately, almost like maybe the car lunged forward, pulled him out of the beam, and that probably threw Steve Spies' reaction time off. Now, don't forget, our next race is where we'd love to see you at, and that is the AC Delco Canadian Nationals. Make sure you come out and see us on July 31st and August 1st. Well, that'll wrap up round number 2 of Funny Car, and you know those Hooters girls, they always have something interesting to say. There's one right now.
The Funny Cars are next with Canada's own Rob Atchison. IHRA rocks.
Welcome back to the Hooters IHRA Drag Racing Series. Ken Stout and Johnny Rocca with you. Medusa down on the pits covering all the action. And earlier, Johnny Rocca spoke about grains of water. Well, it's very important to the alcohol cars and the fuel that they run. And with more on fuel, let's go to Johnny.
Fuel is the one thing that's common to every race car at this racetrack. We have alcohol. This is methanol. This is what's in every one of the alcohol funny cars and the blown Pro Mod cars. We have gasoline. This is what's common to the Pro Stock cars and the nitrous Pro Modified cars. Here we have nitromethane. Nitromethane is what's common to the 8,000 horsepower fuel dragsters. It's odorless, but boy, it makes a sweet smell when it comes out of those race cars. Let me tell you what this is. This is ethanol. Mark Thomas is the only one that runs it. It's White Lightning. It's a renewable source. It's made from the corn that he actually grows on his farm. This may be the answer why Mark Thomas is #1 in the points.
And they'll all bring a tear to your eye, but that nitro stuff, that really does it. Let's take a look at the funny car specs here. 3,000 horsepower supercharged power plant, runs on methanol or ethanol, as Johnny just mentioned to us. IHRA world record 572, 246 miles an hour. Dale Brand and Lori Canister hold those two marks. And the track ET record held by Rob Atchison and Mark Thomas in the ET and mile per hour mark. More fans coming in. We saw the airplane landing. I don't know if they're going to shoot over here or not, but it looks like those big birds are going to land right on the drag strip.
Atchison, Burnett, Thomas, and McMillen. You know, Terry McMillen has really been a surprise this weekend. These guys are the ones that are on the road to Rockingham. Perhaps we're going to get them there.
There you go. They are trying to get to the finals as we speak. This pair will feature Mark Thomas and Terry McMillen. McMillen went to the semifinals at Rockingham against Mark Thomas and came up just a little short. I'm sure he'd like to turn the tables here and make it to his first ever final.
Jimmy Rector, crew chief on Mark's car, has lane choice, and they have put the car in the far lane over there. He has got this thing dialed in, and I'll bet you he's got a ton of power in this thing.
As Terry McMillen lays the former champ, I should say, out on the tree. An 0.25 to an 0.69, and then just marches right to the stripe.
I am in shock. Ken, I can't believe it. Thomas's car was spinning down there. He couldn't get a grip on that surface. It was a real tough one. McMillen, with his soft tune-up, that thing just hung in there, right there at the end of the track. He walks around him.
Yeah, you know, you can see right there up to the first 8th mile, it was pretty much Mark Thomas, but then Millen stroked her right on down through there, a 6:02, so he's been 04, 05, 02, very consistent, and he's going to his first ever final, looking for his first ever IHRA Ironman, and the streak for Mark Thomas will end at 4. And look at the excitement for him, Johnny. That's got to be a great feeling.
He's got to learn not to talk with his helmet on. You know how these race car drivers are.
I don't know if he's talking. He's pretty much screaming inside of there. Very excited as he took out the 5-time champ. Let's go to the top end. We'll get that helmet off of his head and see what he has to say.
Wow! I told you it was coming to happen. Told you this is my day today. Nice smooth run. It should have been in that lane all week. I got to wave to the fans going down the track this time. It's awesome. We're going to go to the finals. Emily Oil funny car coming at you.
Oh, yeah, he's stoked, man. He'll be cutting the light next round. Rob Atchison coming up here. He will try to get to another final here this season. Has yet to win one in the 04 season. And how about Jeff Burnett? Another guy that has never been to the finals will try to take out a heavy hitter and our world champ. About an upset round here in Funny Car. The semifinals has pitted two first-time finalists against each other. You can see Jeff Burnett hung on, made the entire pass, 590, 234 miles an hour. He was definitely ready for Rob Atchison. Atchison hit the throttle there, Johnny. Looks like he just turned the car sideways.
Just absolutely spun the tires. That clutch locked up. It just spun the tires, kicked the car sideways. Atchison's going home, and Burnett's a happy guy. I can assure you of that.
Who would have ever guessed that the reigning world champ and 5-time world champ would both fall out in the semifinalists? To those two tough competitors, congratulations to both McMillen and Burnett. Now our champ and Pro Stock's getting ready for the semis.
All right, Brad, you won. What are you going to show us?
Hopefully another W. That would be really nice, you know. I think we made some adjustments from our last round, and I believe we'll be right on track. We're going to put Pete in the other lane. He ain't been down all weekend, so maybe try that for this round.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, I am a nice guy.
Man, he saw Pete Burner rattle the tires one round to go, but you don't want to ever count that guy out right there. He is your #1 qualifier and still looking for his first win.
IHRA Rockies!
I don't know what was in those glasses. Looks like the same glasses you did that fuel piece on there, Johnny. Hey, how about our bumper-to-bumper Night of Fires? They came out here and put on a show for the fans. Typically our final qualifying round, and that's when all the action counts because you want to get into the field. Yeah, we even had the Nitro Harleys here. Talk about something exciting. Look at the front ends up in the air, riding out through the quarter mile on the back tire, and smoky burnouts out of diesel trucks. Doesn't get any better than that. Well, we want to get you back up to speed here as we enter our semifinal round in Pro Stock. The fans are getting something to drink even on a cool day because the action is hot. And here comes Brian Game, that beautiful Jerry Haas machine. Ford Mustang, Big John Causey power. Crew Chief Cliff Moore has a couple of world championships underneath his belt with different drivers nonetheless, including that guy, Brian Game, who was a back-to-back champion. But on the other side, Johnny, is Pete Burner, and Burner's been running some big numbers.
Well, that's right. Pete and Brian both have a shot at this title. Spieth and Monte Carlo, they have a shot at it. So we'll have to wait and see who gets to this final round, and this is going to be a real test right here.
3 of these 4 semifinalists have either set or reset the track ET or mile per hour record. Burner's 3rd semifinal this year. These two met in the finals at Virginia, where Pete was beat on the tree and lost by 16 thousandths of a second to Brian Game. Guaranteed he'd like to handle a little bit of that back to him. Some big-time steam, and he had some big-time steam, and he didn't have enough to overcome that reaction time. An 077 light for Burner will cost him a win again. Brian Game, an 020 light, runs 662 and wins it, Johnny, by 18 thousandths.
I want to tell you, Brian has just been wicked on that tree. Why? Burner was asleep, and with an 077, that is being asleep. He had that quick 60-foot time. He got the car down there. He just got beat. That's all there is to it.
He got drilled on the starting line by 57 thousandths of a second, was 39 thousandths quicker at the stripe. Margin victory 18 thousandths to Brian Game. John Montecalvo with the Sonny Leonard power plant. He'll line up next to Steve Speece. Steve Speece, also a GM car here.
But it isn't a Sonny Leonard power plant.
This is Monty's fourth semifinal of the year. Speece looking for his fourth round win. Montecalvo in the far lane, near lane, Steve Speece.
Oh, Speece can't keep the thing going. It starts to move towards the line. He lifts. Montecalvo, he's on his way to the road to Rockingham. He wins another round. We're going to see him in the final, Ken.
And look at that ET, 657. You have to give him the performance edge. He will certainly have lane choice going into the finals. This will also be his third final of the year. And look at that tire shake for Speed.
I want to tell you, that thing just danced. He got the front end up. He got this thing cranking down there. It stayed in the groove, and you can see it as ET. He scores a big number at the end of this round, and let me tell you how important lane choice is. He's got it, and it's going to give him the lane he needs to win this race.
Man, that is flying across the stripe, 657.5, 212 miles an hour. And that guy right there, Jeff Dobbins in the blue shirt, is a big key to the success that John Montecalvo's had this year. Thumbs up. Why is he giving us a thumbs up? Because of the Summit Super Series. A bunch of cash up for grabs for all of our Sportsman racers, including the Aruba Allo Trip for 2. You definitely want that one. Now for our box racers, they can receive a turnkey-worthy Sunset Quick Rod drag shirt if they win, and 2 Pit Pro Pit bikes. Now, how about our no-box racers? A 2005 Pontiac G6 and the Huntsville engine, 540 cubic inch, a bow tie, baby. Big block Chevy racing engine. You gotta love it. And our points leaders right now, during this part of the season, Ronnie Dodson from Greer Dragway with 33 points in the box category, followed by Brian McLean. Now, in the no-box category, it's Richard Newman from Cherokee Dragway with 34 points, followed by Chris Bunch from Summer Duck Dragway and Warren Smith at Milan Dragway, both of them locked up at 32 points apiece. Well, don't go away now, because we are down to the final 2 in both categories. We'll run those finals in just a couple of moments, and we're also going to show you some cool sportsman racing and those guys. Harleys, fed by Nitro. Well, one of the featured attractions up here in Edmonton were these guys, the Nitro Harleys. Not a game for the faint of heart. Watch these guys carry the front end as they perch it back up on the wheelie bar. Excellent stuff. Oh, and he almost went down. Wow, what a scary ride. We had a chance to speak with one of our riders, Dave O'Hara.
I'm here with Dave O'Hara, top fuel dragster Harley rider. Tell me about you.
About me. Well, we're number 2 in North America right now, and we've been hard at it for about 9 years. And number 2 is the first loser, so we want to be number 1.
A lot of people think tracks are sexies, but I think Harleys are sexy.
That's where it's at.
What is this? How many horsepower?
This is a 800 horse, 2-cylinder injected nitromethane Harley Davidson, and it should run 670s, 200 miles an hour.
All right, well, good luck. We want to see some horsepower.
All right, we'll do it.
Brian Hall won the class and dominated with a couple of 680 passes at over 200 miles per hour. Talk about something crazy, man. That is quite a ride there. Now our Mr. Gasket Pro-Am classes. This would be the quickest dial-in door car class in the IHRA. Top sportsman, Jamie Silence leading in the points, followed by Gary Bingham. Then, of course, a former champ, Ricky Adkins. Anthony Bertozzi has taken over the points lead from Gary Williams and top dragster. The 13-time world champion is looking for his 14th. And we'll take a look at Excel DFI Superstock, as 2 of the best, actually 3 of the best, that the IHRA has to offer are battling for the championship with Monty Bogan Jr. on top of that one. In Hayes Stock, your factory hot rods you can roll out of the garage, run awesome. Scotty Stillings and Nick Folk battling 1 and 2 for that championship here in the 04 season. Well, they're having some fun racing some cars around there. We thought we'd talk to the man that's been to 3 finals now this season, John Montecalvo.
All right, you won 2 races out of the year. Game says he's going to push it up a notch. What are you going to do?
Game's going to have to push it up a notch because this Chevy is ready to run. He's tough. I think we're going to be tougher.
Hey, he said that he's going to do what he's got to do. This is the last race. He blows a motor. He's taking it all the way.
Well, that's fine. We'll be there. We've got lane choice, and I think it's going to be quite a battle.
Oh, it's going to be a good race to watch.
Ford against Chevy? My money's on the Chevy.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
And he's put that money where his mouth is every time he buys one of those Sonny Leonard power plants because they are pricey. We'll have that for you when we come back to finals of Sunoco Race Fuels Pro Stock. Grab something to eat, sit down, strap in. Ambulance was heating things up. I'd love to ride in the front of that one. While you never want to ride in the back of one, I certainly wouldn't want to ride in the back of that one. You'd end up at the hospital in worse shape than you started off in. A lot of fun to watch, though. There's always something cool going on here with the IHRA. Well, it's time for the Sunoco Race Fuels Pro Stock Finals. 2 of the toughest on the tour are getting ready to butt heads. They are 1-1 this year. These 2 met in the semifinals at Grand Bend when Game beat John on a hole shot by 1/1000th of a second. They also met in the semis at San Antonio when John beat Brian Game at both ends of the track. So who's going to win the battle here, John?
Who knows, Brian or John? This has got to be one of the biggest battles going out there, short of John Nobile. John Nobile, he couldn't make the call today, but Montecalvo is back here in another final round with a record-setting day here, and don't write off Brian Game. He can get this thing down this track.
Cliff Moore, crew chief for Brian Game, has 4 championships, 2 with Brian, 1 with Dan Seaman in 98, 1 with John Yoke in 96. Jeff Dobbins, crew chief for John Montecalvo in the far lane. Ford versus Chevy. Once again, as 2 Titans clash. Game lays him out on the starting line by 24,000ths of a second. Then Montecalvo was 1,000th of a second quicker in ET. The whole shot win goes to Brian Game by 23,000ths of a second.
It was absolutely a perfect drag race. Look at this. Both cars down the groove. They just dance the dance, and they're side by side. It's a whole shot win for Brian, and by George, that's how it worked out.
And you know, Johnny, John Montecalvo lost a whole bunch from his semifinal run where he ran 6:57. Looks like he wandered towards the center line there a little bit, probably cost him some ET. Montecalvo 60-foot time 1:01.9, and that's what it looked like at the stripe. Just a half a car length, if at that. Boy, I'll tell you, that is pro stock racing at its best. Let's go to the top with the man, Brian Game.
All right.
Yeah!
What do you think of that? Woo!
What do you think of that? Nice hole shot.
That was a rough ride again. We still can't get that thing through low gear. It shook all the way through low gear. It's sticking gear early. Just lucky I had enough cushion on the start line, I guess. But I figured he was coming around. I couldn't tell, but I knew he'd be running me down because they've been fast all weekend, you know. We just been...
Oh, he was nipping at you.
Was he? I didn't feel it, though. I said no. But I know it was a good drag race. We just drove hard all weekend, you know. I mean, when you're down on power, so to speak, or not getting down the racetrack, sometimes you got to dig deep, and Games Car and Truck Parts Mustang did her again. We're ready to go.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Brian's always a great winner. He does good, and of course, this makes John Nobile a little bit happy because it takes Montecalvo off that win. So Johnny takes over the #1 spot with Brian in the second hole and Lodge in the third. Ron Miller all the way down at the bottom of the pile on this. So we'll see what happens.
Brian Game, a huge move after not qualifying at Rockingham, #2 in the points. And now we have the finals in Funny Car with 2 first-timers going there.
All right, Mr. Burnett, what a great upset. What are you going to do against Terry McMillen?
I hope we're going to do the same thing again.
And what is that?
Well, hopefully we're going to win.
You're going to win?
We're going to be trying.
Yeah? What are you changing in here?
Nothing. We're just checking things and running it exactly the same as it was then. If we run the same number again, we'll win.
Boy, he just might be right. That semifinal pass was the second quickest of the day, only to Mark Thomas, who's no longer in the game. Final, the funny car in a minute. This Hooters IHRA telecast is being brought to you by Northern Provincial Pipelines, NPP, committed to performance, and by Western RV, #1 in family fun. Well, that man, Brian Game, wins his second event of the 2004 season. He and John Montecalvo in a fierce battle for the championship, and right now we're going to shift gears, go into the finals of Funny Car. 2 first-time finalists. Neither one of these guys have ever won a race. This is great stuff, Johnny. This is what it's all about. You love to see 2 first-timers get in here and do battle. And how about Jeff Burnett? I mean, he's been on his game all day long, running a 590 in the semifinal round. And McMillen, well, he's actually done a pretty good job all year long.
You're right, Ken. Terry McMillen has kind of stroked and worked and had busted himself to get up here. Burnett's just been on a run today, and I've been on those runs. And one race is just where everything falls into place and the race car goes down the racetrack and does what it's supposed to do. That guy just reached in the car and goosed the hell out of Terry McMillen while he was sitting there waiting for the light to change.
And right there for Terry McMillen, they call him TV Ted because his hand's been on TV so many times for turning on the computer. Near lane will be Jeff Burnett. Far lane, Terry McMillen. It's showtime, baby. Who wants it?
Perfect day.
Did you see McMillen's car? The butterflies closed early. Something happened to Terry McMillen. He laid him out at the starting line, an 048 light to an 098 light, and Terry McMillen was well on his way. In fact, Burnett was behind by 48 thousandths at half track, courtesy of McMillen's reaction time.
The car makes a funny move down there. He gets about halfway up the racetrack, looks like it's pulling all right, and boom! Terry quits. He says something's wrong in his car, and he probably needed oil on the track like a hole in the head.
So problems for Terry McMillen. Unfortunately, won't get his first win here, but he does make it to his first final. And congratulations to Jeff Burnett on a job well done for winning his first IHRA Ironman.
All right, Jeff, way to go. Way to go. And what did you do? What did you do to win?
Congratulations.
What's your secret?
I have no idea. We just did everything right, I guess, and we got. Thank you. Yeah.
You get all sorts of things.
The guys here did an excellent job all weekend. They made the car run fast. We made no mistakes, and everything went great. And I'd just like to thank Shabanaki Chevrolet for helping us get here. And to the boys that couldn't make it, like Dan and Little Joe, we won for you guys.
All right. All right.
No doubt that Aussie accent. My old driver, one of my crewmen were from down under, and they were great. It was a lot of fun having those guys around. They got a great sense of humor. Happy guy. Mark Thomas is still on top with 552. Rob Atchison, 414 right behind him. And look at Terry McMillen. He's still in the hunt. Larry Dobbs, Neil Parker, and Dan Roman are bringing up the backside of this thing, but they're still in the top 10.
And that guy, Jeff Burnett, works his way up into the top 5. He's number 4 in the points. Nice to see him and McMillen doing so well in the points chase. Well, if you get a chance, we'd love to see you at Toronto Motorsports Park here this weekend, July 31st and August 1st. And you can always watch the 2nd annual Motor City Nationals from Milan Dragway in Detroit on Monday, August 16th at 3 p.m. and Saturday, August 21st at 5 p.m. Make sure you tune in to Speed. That's where you'll be able to watch all the hot IHRA action. And don't forget to log on to speedtv.com to keep up with everything Speed. For Johnny